The hour of convening having arrived, all members of the House will please come to the floor and take their seats. All members of the House will please report to the floor of the House. I'm going to ask the clerk to ring the bell. All members come to the floor of the House. We're about to have the call of the roll. We're about to have the morning roll call. All members present will please vote green to signify their presence in the chamber, and the clerk will unlock the machines. Have all members voted? Have all members voted? If so, the clerk will lock the machines. Doorkeepers will please close the doors and keep them closed. We will have scripture reading and prayer by the chaplain, after which we will pledge allegiance to the flag of our country. Our chaplain this morning will be introduced by the gentleman from the 178th House District, Representative Chad Nimmer. Representative Nimmer.
Well, thank you, Mr. Speaker. Ladies and gentlemen of the House, good morning. It is my distinct honor this morning to have the privilege to introduce Pastor George Moxley. Pastor Moxley and his wife of 29 years, Sister Debbie Moxley, reside in Jessup, Georgia. That is in beautiful Wayne County, where I have the privilege of representing that area. And he has come today, no stranger to this chamber. He has had the privilege to come and share God's Word from this rostrum on several occasions, and I am excited about him being here. But before I finish introducing Brother George, I want you to make welcome his nephew, Zach Moxley. Zach, if you would stand up. Thank you. Prior to this morning, Zach has a keen interest in politics, and that may deter a little bit after today, but they're going to hang around and watch how we function. But Brother George has done an amazing work through God's leadership and following what God's calling on his life is in Wayne County. Starting the ministry back in 1998 at Unity Church of God, they began with just 65 members in a storefront building. Today in 2013, they've had the ability to acquire property, construct buildings, continually adding on and expanding their reach of the ministry that God's laid in his heart and his wife, Sister Debbie's heart. And today they minister to just over 1,000 people and reach out way beyond the borders of Wayne County and the city of Jessup and truly do a work for God, reaching out to whomever they can and wherever they can. Brother George is blessed with children. He tragically lost a son a few years ago in an automobile accident, but has continued to keep the faith and not get discouraged in what God would have him to do. I've grown to know him, respect him, and really cherish what has developed into what I consider a true friendship over the past several years of my life, and I look forward to that friendship growing in years to come. Without any further ado, it is my honor and my privilege to introduce to you Brother George Moxley.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, Representative Nimmer. Thank you for allowing me to be here today. You can tell I'm from Georgia because I can't talk and I'm fighting the pine tree pollen, but it's great to see you here today and doing the work of our state. Let me begin by saying it is an honor to be a part of the greatest nation on the face of the earth, and what I believe to be standing in the greatest state in the greatest nation on the face of the earth. And I appreciate so much the leadership that our state has. Truly, God has blessed us in mighty and great ways. The book of James, chapter 1, verse 17. It says, every good gift and every perfect gift comes down from the Father of lights, in whom there is no variableness nor change in. I just wanted to share with you today, and I don't take this opportunity lightly at all. I wanted to share with you today a scripture that God really laid on my heart for this moment in time. I want to talk to you simply, and this devotion is for two reasons. Number one, I hope that it reminds us of all the goodness of God, but I also hope that it challenges us to never forget how far He's brought us and where He will take us to, and to never forget that He is greater than all the challenges that we face. Forgetting God is something that has been struggled with all throughout the Scriptures. We find that Adam forgot God and forgot His commandments, and for that reason we all have to have the sweat of our brow. We find Noah forgot God as he protected him on the boat and got sloppy drunk when he got off the boat. We find that Peter forgot God and literally denied Him just shortly before his crucifixion. So forgetting God is something that I struggle with as a pastor, even making sure I do what I do for the right reason. In the book of Deuteronomy, Moses wrote under the direction of God. He wrote a passage of scripture in Deuteronomy chapter 8, and this is what it says. When you've eaten and are full, then you shall bless the Lord thy God for the good land which the God has given thee. Beware that thou forget not the Lord thy God in not keeping His commandments and His judgments and His statutes, which I command thee this day. He goes on the rest of that chapter and he brags on, or he tells us all the things that He has done for us and delivered or the people at that particular time. And he said, make sure when you get wealth, make sure when you prosper, that you don't look and say, look what I have done, but always remember it is God that gives the ability to get wealth, and it is God that gives the opportunity to bless. How can we forget someone that loves us like He loves us, that He gave His only begotten Son that we could have eternal life? When you think about all the things that Jesus became and that Jesus still is, because He changes not. He's our Savior, according to Matthew chapter 1, verse 21. He's our healer, according to 2 Peter chapter 2, verse 24. He fills us with His Spirit, according to Matthew chapter 3, verse 11. He is the Word, according to John chapter 1, verse 1. And that Word tells us that He's so many things. That Word tells us that He's a wheel in the center of the wheel. That Word tells us He's a lion tamer for a man named Daniel. He's the fourth man that shows up for the three Hebrew boys. He's wonderful. He's Counselor. He's Mighty God. He's the Rose of Sharon, the Bible says. He is the Alpha and Omega. He is the beginning and He is the end. There is none like Him before. There's none like Him now, nor will there ever be one like Him. And God loved me and you so much that He gave His only begotten Son to become those things. He gives us a scripture in Philippians 4:13. He says, we can do all things through Christ who strengthens us. He kind of throws the opposite side of the coin in that in John 15, verse 5, where Jesus said this. He said, without me, you can do nothing. So today, House of Representatives, it's such an honor to be here. House of Representatives, I challenge you in all the work that you do for the great state of Georgia, never forget the God that's brought us to the place that we are at. If you would please stand as we go to the Lord in prayer. Father, I thank you so much for the honor of standing in this place. I thank you, Father, for our speaker. I thank you, Lord, for our representatives. I thank you, Lord, for our representative from home, Brother Chad. I ask you, God, to bless these ladies and gentlemen here today. Bless their spouses. Bless their homes. Bless the businesses or the jobs or the things that they left to come and do the work of our state. I ask you, Father, to bless them in such a way that only you get the glory for it all. And God, I ask you to guide us, to guide them as they take care of the business that you've laid before them. Lord, an elder that serves well is worthy of double honor. And God, if it would behoove me not to give them double honor from me today, Father, as a minister and as a citizen of our great state. I ask you to bless them, bless this time as they finish out the session. And God, I ask you, God, to cover them with your blessing and your guidance. In the name of Jesus we pray. Amen and amen. If you would, let's say the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. I hope that was okay.
Doorkeepers will open the doors. For the report from the Committee on Information and Audits, the chair recognizes the lady from the 123rd District, Chairman Sims.
Mr. Speaker, your Committee on Information and Audits has read the proceedings of the previous legislative day and found them to be correct.
Chairman Sims, the chair of the Committee on Information and Audits, reports that the journal of the previous legislative day has been read and found to be correct. Is there any objection to the confirmation of the journal? The chair hears none, and the journal is confirmed. The clerk will read the resolution establishing the order of business for the day.
Mr. O'Neill, the 146, moves the following be established as the order of business during the first part of the period of unanimous consent. Introduction of bills and resolutions, first reading and reference to bills and resolutions, second reading of bills and resolutions, morning orders, rules, calendar, privilege resolutions through the order of business establishing this legislative day.
Is there any objection to the adoption of the resolution establishing the order of business for the day? The chair hears none, and the resolution is adopted. First reading of bills and resolutions. The clerk will read.
House Bill 47, Representative Ramsey, 72nd, a bill being entitled Act amending Title 16 relating to offenses against public health and morals.
Regulated industries.
House Bill 48 by Representative Hitchens, 161st, a bill being entitled Act amending Title 4 relating to responsible dog ownership.
Public safety and homeland security.
House Bill 49 by Representative Nix, 69. Bill to be entitled Act relating to optional retirement allowances, teachers' retirement system.
Retirement.
House Bill 490 by Representative Barr, the 103rd. A bill to be entitled Act entitled 20 relating to health insurance plans for teachers.
Education.
House Bill 491 by Representative Sims, 169. Bill to be entitled Act entitled 50 relating to jurisdiction of state.
State properties.
House Bill 492 by Representative Roberts, 155th. Bill to be entitled Act Code Section 4286 relating to special license
Motor
plates.
vehicles.
House Bill 493 by Representative Rutledge of the 109th. Bill to be entitled Act amending Title 2 relating to commercial feeds.
Agriculture and Consumer Affairs.
House Bill 494 by Representative Welch, 110th. The bill to be entitled Act amending Title 32 relating to mass transportation.
Transportation.
House Bill 495 by Representative Hill, 22nd. A bill to be entitled Act amending Title 50 relating to State Properties Code.
State properties.
House Bill 496, Representative Allison, 8th. Bill to be entitled Act create Rabun County Water and Sewer Authority.
Intergovernmental coordination.
House Bill 497, Representative Tanner of the 9th. Bill being entitled Act, amending Title 52, the Georgia Boat Safety Act.
Public Safety and Homeland Security.
House Bill 498, Representative Chiokas, 138. Bill being entitled Act, authorize the Magistrate Court of Sumter County.
Intergovernmental Coordination.
House Bill 499, Representative Sheldon, 104th. Bill being entitled Act, amending Title 51, relating to general provisions for torts.
Judiciary.
House Resolution 511, Representative Pruitt, 149, a resolution on the life of Trooper Sergeant Major George Harrelson, dedicating a road in his memory.
Transportation.
Senate Bill 68 by Senator Ligon, third, a bill being entitled Act, amending Title 20, establish Celebrate Freedom Week.
Education.
Senate Bill 103 by Senator Golden, the eighth, the bill being entitled Act, relating to Powers State Board of Technical College System.
Higher Education.
Senate Bill 105 by Senator Davies, 22nd, a bill being entitled Act, amending Title 18, Uniform Fraudulent Transfers Act.
Judiciary.
Senate Bill 135 by Senator McCoon of the 29th, bill being entitled Act to amend Title 35 relating to DNA sampling.
Judiciary Non-Civil.
And Senate Bill 143 by Senator Miller of the 40th, bill being entitled Act, amending Title 47 relative to Public Retirement System Standards Law.
Retirement.
Through the first readers.
Second reading of bills and resolutions. The clerk will read.
HB 466 by Representative Rogers of the 10th, a bill to provide a new charter for the city of Cornelia. HB 467 by Representative Epps of the 144th, bill to provide a new charter for the town of Danville. HB 468 by Representative Jacobs of the 80th, a bill relating to suspension and removal of local school board members under certain circumstances. HB 469 by Representative Smith of the 134th, a bill relating to computation of taxable net income. HB 470 by Representative Randall of the 142nd, a bill to amend an act providing for a civil service system and a civil service board of Bibb County. HB 471 by Representative Meadows of the 5th, the bill to authorize the governing authority of the city of Calhoun to levy an excise tax. HB 472 by Representative Meadows of the 5th, the bill to authorize the governing authority of Gordon County to levy an excise tax. HB 473 by Mr. Welch of the 110th, the bill relating to provisions applicable to counties and municipal corporations. HB 474 by Mr. Willard of the 51st, a bill relating to changes or uses not prohibited by historic preservation provisions. HB 476 by Mr. Williams of the 168th, the bill to amend an act to create a new charter for the city of Hinesville. HB 477 by Representative Powell of the 171st, a bill relating to service credible towards retirement benefits under the Employee Retirement System of Georgia. HB 478 by Representative Powell of the 171st, a bill relating to information to be considered by the State Board of Pardons and Paroles. HB 479 by Representative Dudgeon of the 25th, a bill to amend an act provided for the Board of Education for Forsyth County to consolidate and restate provisions of law relating to the board. HB 480 by Representative Ballinger of the 23rd, a bill relating to persons allowed to be present in a courtroom when a person under the age of 16 testifies concerning a sex offense. HB 481 by Representative Neal of the 2nd, bill relating to the parent and child relationship. HB 482 by Representative Neal of the 2nd, bill relating to the Board of Corrections and the Department of Corrections. HB 483 by Representative Neal of the 2nd, bill relating to the punishment for repeat offenders. HB 484 by Representative Williamson of the 115th, the bill to amend an act to reincorporate the city of Monroe in the county of Walton. HB 485 by Representative Hatchett of the 150th, the bill to amend an act to establish the city court of Soperton. HB 486 by Representative Roberts of the 155th, the bill relating to dimensions and weight of vehicles and loads. HR 486 by Representative Taylor of the 79th. A resolution proposing amendment to the Constitution so as to authorize any municipality created on or after January 1st, 2005, any municipality which is contiguous to a municipality created on or after January 1st, 2005, irrespective of whether such municipalities may be in different counties, to establish individually or collectively by local law an independent school system. HR 487 by Representative Walston of the 7th, a resolution honoring the life of Trooper Clyde Arthur Wehunt and dedicating a road in his memory. HR 502 by Representative Tanner of the 9th, a resolution creating the Joint Study Committee on Mental Health and School Violence. HR 503 by Representative Kirby of the 114th, a resolution honoring the life of Major W. David Gray, dedicating a road in his memory. Senate Bill 61 by Senator Stone of the 23rd, bill relating to self-service storage facilities. Senate Bill 70 by Senator Gooch of the 51st, bill relating to the Department of Transportation's power to contract. Senate Bill 72 by Senator Stone of the 23rd, a bill relating to state administrative provisions. Senate Bill 82 by Senator Gooch of the 51st, a bill relating to the Georgia Student Finance Authority. Senate Bill 120 by Senator Crosby of the 13th, bill relating to probate courts. Senate Bill 125 by Senator Stone of the 23rd, bill relating to general provisions regarding liability of owners and occupiers of land. Senate Bill 182 by Senator Lucas of the 26th, a bill to amend an act to reconstitute the Board of Education of Hancock County. Senate Bill 183 by Senator Lucas of the 26th, a bill to amend an act creating the Board of County Commissioners of Hancock County. Through second readers.
We have no reports of standing committees today. We're going on to morning orders. If you have signed up for a morning order, please make your way to the front of the chamber. We do have a number of members that have signed up. I'm going to ask members to limit their comments on morning orders to not more than 1 minute, not more than 1 minute each. Chair recognizes Representative Chokas and Representative Gravely for a morning order. Just a minute, gentlemen. This House will be in order. Chair expects members to give attention and respect to the members in the well on morning orders. Gentlemen, let's... Gentlemen may proceed.
Oh, there we go. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Micah and I stand here ready to recognize someone in the gallery, a friend of ours, Greg Barano. Greg, if you would stand up. Greg is chairman of the County Commissioners of Sly County, and we're glad that he's here. And apparently Micah has a word or two to say.
I just want to welcome County Commissioner, my former college classmate, softball classmate, intramural opponent. Welcome to the state capitol. It's good to see you and your family here today. Miss Cricket, hope you guys are doing well in Sly County.
Thank you.
Chair recognizes Chairman Neal for a morning order. Chairman Neal.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Ladies and gentlemen of the House, we have some special guests here today from Walker County. Gordon Lee Middle School 8th graders are here, about 130 students. One of those students happens to be Senator Jeff Mullis's daughter. I think all of us know Mullis enough to know that maybe that's a good thing. Maybe that's condolences to him. But anyway, they're here today. 8th graders from Gordon Lee. If y'all would stand, I think some of them are over in the Senate gallery, but we have a group of them here. Make them welcome to the Capitol today for me, if you will.
Chair recognizes Representative Holmes for a morning order.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Ladies and gentlemen, I am especially pleased today to introduce the 3rd grade from Stratford Academy. Y'all stand up, guys. And this is a very special group, especially to me because I have a granddaughter, Shorter McCook, who's in this group, and I have a daughter, Cammie McCook, who's in this group. So we're so happy to have y'all, and we also, thanks for coming, y'all have a great time. We also have a super group from Tatnall today. Where are y'all? Tatnall group in here? Not yet. Okay, thank you so much.
You guys.
Chair recognizes Representative Allison for a morning order. Representative Allison.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Ladies and gentlemen, my colleagues of the House, it is truly an honor for me to come down here today. In my 5th year of service here in the General Assembly, I finally get to recognize a state champion from my district. Up in the gallery is Miss Emma Garrison. She is the first female from Union County to win a state championship, having won the AA state championship in cross country last November. Not only did she do this with more than 90 other competitors, she was also a freshman. So if Miss Garrison would stand up for us so we can recognize her achievement. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Chair recognizes Representative Williamson for a morning order. Representative Williamson, he's joined by Representative Kirby.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Ladies and gentlemen of the House, many of you might not know that Walton County, Georgia, is the home of 7 governors, and today we might have some future governors of Georgia in the making. We're here to join me in welcoming our youth leadership from Walton County, represented by all the high schools in our county, as well as our Walton County adult leadership class. Boys and girls and men and ladies, if you'll stand, let us recognize you from Walton County. Welcome to the state capitol. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Chair recognizes Representatives Quick, Chuck Williams, and Chairman England for a morning order.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and ladies and gentlemen of the House. We have some special guests to the 3 of us in the gallery. We have with us today the Oconee Regional Republican Women, which is a group of grassroots folks from our area who work are formed for the purposes of working for good government, and I promise you that is what they do. And if you see them today around the Capitol, please give them your sympathy and your empathy, because you get to send me home, but they have to deal with me all year. So if y'all will stand and help me welcome the Oconee Regional Republican Women.
Chair recognizes Representative Diefenbaugh for a morning order.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I come from the great state of Dade and welcome a special group of people, the girls' high school softball AA champions. They are a great credit to their community and school. They are an example of what can be accomplished when you work as a team. Their coaches, Ms. Signer and Ms. Kaur, have instilled in them these qualities. The young women will have the ability to deal well on the field and in life because of what they've learned at the high school. Do not applaud at this point, but will the team stand up? For those of you who don't know where the great state of Dade is, that's where Alabama and Tennessee meet Georgia. So with that in mind, please welcome my champions to the House. Thank you.
Chair recognizes Representatives Flood, Mabra, Chairman Yates, Vice Chairman Ramsey for a morning order.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Ladies and gentlemen of the House, today is Fayette County Dome Rome Day, where the Fayette County Chamber of Commerce comes to see how we conduct our business. Joining us this morning in the gallery are President Virginia Gibbs, Chairman Randy Weaver, Vice Chair Greg Detweiler, and Government Affairs Director Chris McDonald. Would you guys please stand so you can be recognized? Thank you.
Chair recognizes Representative Bentley for a morning order.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, Representative Harden, for joining me. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Today is a great day as we are celebrating Georgia Literacy Day here at the state capitol. In our gallery today, we have members of Georgia Literacy, Adult Literacy. Will you all please stand, representing Middle and South Georgia? Let's stand and give them a big round of applause. Welcome them to their state house. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
House will be in order. We're going to recognize some very distinguished Georgians. I'm going to ask the House to be in order. Members to cease conversation, clear the aisles, and take your seats unless you have business that requires that you talk, and then I'm going to ask that you go to the anterooms. Chair recognizes Representative Tanner for an invite resolution. Representative Tanner.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. First of all, I want to apologize to Decatur because the Dawson County Tigers, and all of us are from the Dawson County High School, we beat Decatur last night to go to the Final Four in the state basketball tournament, so we're thankful for Dawson County's victory. But I'm here today to honor a very special person in our community. Bradley Weaver and his parents are here with us, Tony and Karen Weaver. They're up in the gallery. We appreciate them being here. But FFA gives out what's known as a Star Award every year. Very few people in this country have ever received that. I believe Reggie and I were talking, less than 200 folks have received that. Bradley, when he was 5 years old, started his first business, agribusiness, by selling pumpkins on the roadside to earn money for college. He now owns Bradley's Christmas trees, Bradley's landscaping, Bradley's daffodils, Bradley's peanuts. He has an e-commerce site, and Pick Your Own Blueberries. He's a very ambitious young man. This past year, he was recognized as the first Georgian to ever win the Star Award for agribusiness. Only 5 Georgians in the history of this state have ever won the Star Award, and the last one was in 1985, so he joins a very elite group. Here today is he's a junior at North Georgia College now, majoring in business. His ag teacher from high school, Reggie Stowers, is also here with us today, a great influence on his life, mine, and many others in our community. And I'd just like for us to stand and recognize Bradley Weaver for this great accomplishment for the state of Georgia.
I'd just like to say thank you to the Speaker and Representative Tanner for giving me this opportunity to come up here, and thank you very much.
Thank you. Congratulations. I'm going to do mine. Before we leave this invite resolution, the chair has one that I don't know that the recipient was expecting, and I'm joined in this resolution by Representative Tanner and Chairman England. Representative Tanner mentioned that Mr. Weaver's FFA advisor and teacher is Reggie Stowers from Dawson County High School, and he too has been honored in a very special way this year by being inducted into the Georgia Agriculture Education Hall of Fame. That's a very, very select honor, and it comes after 32 years of outstanding ag education. He overcame the influence of Chairman England early in his career to go on to greatness, and so it's an honor for me to present House Resolution 474 to Reggie Stowers. Chair recognizes Representative Rogers for an invite resolution. He's joined by Representative Hawkins.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I am joined by Representative Hawkins, and I'm very proud to bring a distinguished group before you all today. Matter of fact, we've got a couple of them also. We don't have all of them down here. We have a couple in the gallery, if they would stand along with us. This is the White County Color and Honor Guard. And I want to tell you that as a son of a military veteran who passed away a couple of years ago, I can't tell you what it means to the family to see their loved one be put away with military honors. And these guys go all over North Georgia honoring veterans and according them the respect they're due. And so at this point, I would like to ask the clerk if he would read the caption to the resolution.
House Resolution 390 by Representative Rogers the 10th, Representative Hawkins the 27th, Representative Allison the 8th. A resolution commending the White County Color and Honor Guard for its outstanding service to White County and to the state of Georgia, and inviting its members to be recognized by this House of Representatives at a date and upon a time to be designated by the Speaker of this House.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. And if you would, join me in welcoming these people and showing them their appreciation. Thank you.
Chair recognizes Chairman Carter for an invite resolution. Chairman Carter.
Good morning. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. You know, we hear a lot up here about the University of Georgia and Georgia Tech and what great things they're doing, but we need some love in the South. Valdosta State University has 2 national champions this past year, 2012, and we're here to recognize them today. On May 19th of 2012, the Valdosta State softball team won the Division II National Championship. To my right, I have Coach Thomas Macera, who is going to introduce who he brought up with him, and will also recognize the team up in the gallery. You want to say anything?
No, not really.
Just congratulations, girls.
Congratulations, girls. We brought several of our team with us. Please stand up. And to my right is Marty Littlefield, who is an All-American at Valdosta State.
Thank you, Coach. And our second team I want to recognize is the football team, which is the Gulf South Conference's Team of the Decade for 2000 through 2009, earning 89% of the votes for that honor. To top it off, on December 15th of 2012, Valdosta State University's football team defeated the Winston-Salem State University Rams to win the coveted 2012 NCAA Division II Football National Championship. Our football team is up here in the gallery. If you will, please stand. And I have Coach David Dean here to my right. I want to give you a little background, though, on Coach Dean and me. We have been, is the word honored, to been asked to raise some money for VSU on April 13th by doing a little Dancing with the Stars show. Coach Dean and I are competitors. So I'm going to ask Coach Dean to come on up here, and maybe he'll do a little cha-cha. He and I can get down here on the house floor and do a little cha-cha together to show you our great talents for Dancing with the Stars. Coach Dean?
Thank you. It's truly an honor to be here today and be in front of so many distinguished folks. And I will say this, we are truly, truly blessed to have a great representative from Lowndes County, the city of Valdosta, is Amy Carter. Amy, thank you so much for allowing us to be here today and the invitation. Congratulations to our players, our coaches. I have one of our captain this past year was an all-conference guard. One of the great players that we had on our football team this year was a senior. Unfortunately, he's leaving us. This is Cam Short, one of our captains this year. Again, on behalf of the Valdosta State football team, we thank you for this honor. We are truly blessed to be here, and thank you for all that you do for the state of Georgia. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Let's get a picture. Okay.
Chair recognizes Chairman Benton for a morning order. Chairman Tommy Benton.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I wanted to recognize a group of students from Jackson County this morning. They're from East Jackson Middle. If they would stand up here in the gallery. Thank y'all for coming and visiting your state capital. Thank you.
The chair recognizes Representative Abel Mabel Thomas for a morning order.
Is Alicia Thomas Morgan here? Okay. Mr. Speaker and members of this distinguished body, I am honored today to be able to recognize some of the smartest and cutest kids in Atlanta, for sure. The group that I have the honor of bringing forth today is called Friendship Academy, and Friendship Academy is in Margaret Kaiser's district in Grant Park. But I know the love and the work that's being done by the Honorable Alicia Thomas Morgan, so I wanted her also to be here with us. She also has spoken with these kids this morning. And so will the young people from Friendship Academy raise your hand and be recognized today? We thank you. You see those cute little kids? They got a chance to go to meet the governor this day, and they were telling the governor all about himself, everything. And they even went in a good way. And they were saying that he never missed a day in school. They was going through, they really went through his whole bio. So I would like for Margaret, since her district, to have a word to say as well.
Oh, thank you. I just want to say how wonderful to have you here, and look forward to visiting your school and bringing some pizza for you.
We went to speak to them earlier, and when it was my turn, all they were focused on was cheese pizza. So we are happy to have them here, and as I told them earlier, we look forward to you one day being state representatives and the governor of this state. Thank you.
And I want And I want to thank the kids for giving me this gift. Thank you very much. All right.
Chair recognizes the chairman of the House Ethics Committee, Chairman Wilkinson, to introduce the Doctor of the Day.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker and fellow members of the House. It's my very great pleasure to bring back for the fourth time Dr. Hal Silcox III, who is a native of Atlanta, but he grew up primarily in Gainesville. Dr. Silcox earned his medical degree from Emory University. He completed his general surgery internship and orthopedic surgery residency at Emory University affiliated hospitals, followed by his fellowship in spine surgery at Emory University affiliated hospitals. He currently practices at Peachtree Orthopedic Clinic. He has authored numerous peer-reviewed research publications and has been involved in many areas of research. He continues to be active in clinical research and spine surgery device development. He maintains membership in national and state medical societies. He's married to Deborah. Their daughter Elizabeth is a freshman at Presbyterian. Hal IV is a sophomore at Westminster Schools, and they are very active members of Church of the Apostles. Please welcome back to the House my friend and my neighbor, Hal Silcox III.
Thank you. As you know, as a surgeon, I work in an operating room most of the time, and unlike you, the person I'm serving is asleep, and it's great. They don't debate me. I don't have to compromise, and I'm king, so I feel for you. I know y'all have to work very hard to get compromise and debate to get what you want. I thank you for your service to this great state of Georgia, and have a great day.
All right, we're about to go on to the rules calendar. We're about to go to the rules calendar. The chair is going to ask all members to clear the aisles, cease audible conversation. And I'm going to ask the clerk to read the caption to House Bill 336. House Bill 336.
House Bill 336 by Representative Powell, 171st, a bill to be entitled Act amending Title 9 relating to provisional, final remedies, special proceedings, and civil practice or to provide for certain pre-suit settlement offers and arrangements as to tort claims arising out of the use of motor vehicles. The bill having been before the House Committee on Judiciary. Committee recommends the bill to pass by substitute. The bill is being read today for the third time.
Chair recognizes Chairman Jay Powell to present the bill. Chairman Powell.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This is House Bill 336, and what it does is resolves a problem that we've had in the state for quite a few years in trying to effectuate and facilitate settlements in motor vehicle accidents. There's been a difficulty as far as bad faith claims on both sides. This defines what can be defined as a good faith settlement offer, gives the parameters of it, gives a safe haven, and it is supported by both the trial lawyers and the insurance industry. And if there are no questions, I would yield the will.
You have no questions. The gentleman has yielded the will. Is there any objection to the previous question being ordered on House Bill 336? The chair hears none. The previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to adopting the committee substitute? The chair hears none. The committee substitute is adopted. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee, which was favorable to the passage of the bill? The chair hears none. The report of the committee is agreed to. Shall this bill now pass? All those in favor of the passage of House Bill 336 will vote aye. Those opposed will vote no, and the clerk will unlock the machine. Have all members voted? Have all members voted? If so, the clerk will lock the machines on the passage of House Bill 336. The ayes are 163, the nays are 0. This bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed. Clerk will read the caption to House Bill 210. House Bill 210.
House Bill 210 by Representative Nimmer, 178th. A bill will be entitled Admin Code Section 48817 relating to temporary suspension, collection of taxes on gasoline, aviation fuel, so as to provide for legislative findings, procedures, conditions, and limitations. By powers to use authority of the State Revenue Commissioner with respect to the foregoing to ratify an executive order of the governor suspending temporarily the collection of these taxes. This bill having been before the House Committee on Ways and Means. The committee recommends the bill do pass. The bill is being read today for its third time.
Chair recognizes Representative Nimmer to present the bill. Representative Nimmer.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Ladies and gentlemen of the House, I bring before you for your consideration today House Bill 210. It simply ratifies the executive order that the governor did last year when gas prices escalated beyond control. This just puts into place what he did last year. And if there's any questions, I'll be glad to yield for them. If not, I'd ask for your favorable consideration of House Bill 210.
You have no questions.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I yield the will.
Gentleman has yielded the will. Is there any objection to the previous question being ordered? The chair hears none. The previous question is ordered. Is there any objection? Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee, which was favorable to the passage of the bill? The chair hears none. The report of the committee is agreed to. Shall this bill now pass? All those in favor of the passage of the bill will vote yes. All those opposed will vote no, and the clerk will unlock the machine. What purpose does Representative Dickerson rise?
Mr. Speaker, pursuant to House Rule 133, I'd like to be excused from this.
Lady has that right. The journal will reflect. Have all members voted? Have all members voted? If so, the clerk will lock the machines on the passage of House Bill 210. The ayes are 165, the nays are 0. This bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed. Clerk will read the caption to House Bill 328. House Bill 328.
House Bill 328 by Representative Carter, 175th. Bill to be entitled Act for the Nonpartisan Nomination Election of Judge Probate Court, Lowndes County. Bill having been for the House Committee on Intergovernmental Coordination. The committee recommends the bill do pass. Bill is being read today for the third time.
Chair recognizes Chairman Carter to present the bill. Chairman Carter.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I present to you today House Bill 328, which is a bill that changes the election of probate judge in Lowndes County only to a nonpartisan election. If there are no questions, I'll yield the well, Mr. Speaker.
You have no questions?
Thank you.
Lady has yielded the well. Is there any objection to the previous question being ordered? The chair hears none. The previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee which was favorable to the passage of the bill? The chair hears none. The report of the committee is agreed to. Shall this bill now pass? All those in favor of the passage of House Bill 328 will vote yes. Those opposed will vote no, and the clerk will unlock the machines. Have all members voted? Have all members voted? If so, the clerk will lock the machine on the passage of House Bill 328. The ayes are 144, the nays are 22. This bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed. Clerk will read the caption to House Bill 329. House Bill 329.
House Bill 329 by Representative Carter, 175th. The bill will be entitled Act Amendment Act Creating Small Claims Court for Lowndes County, so as to provide the judge small claims court for Lowndes County shall be a magistrate judge and should be elected on a nonpartisan basis. Bill having been for the House Committee on Intergovernmental Coordination. Committee recommends the bill do pass. Bill is being read today for its third time.
Chair recognizes Chairman Carter to present the bill. Chairman Carter.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Similarly, this second bill simply changes the magistrate judge to a nonpartisan election. Appreciate your favorable consideration. In Lowndes County only.
You have no questions.
Thank you.
The lady has yielded the well. Is there any objection to the previous question being ordered on House Bill 329? Chair hears none. The previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee which was favorable to the passage of the bill? The chair hears none. The report of the committee is agreed to. Shall this bill now pass? All those in favor of the passage of House Bill 329 will vote yes. All those opposed will vote no, and the clerk will unlock the machines. Have all members voted? Have all members voted? If so, the clerk will lock the machines on the passage of House Bill 329. The ayes are 133, the nays are 29. This bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed. Clerk will read the caption to House Bill 384. House Bill 384.
House Bill 384 by Representative Roberts of the 155th. The bill will be entitled Act Amendment Code Section 40-6-331 relating to the authority of local governing bodies and crossing streets under the jurisdiction of the Department of Transportation so as to modify provisions relating to a local governing authority designating public streets or portions thereof that are under its jurisdiction for the combined use of motorized carts and regular vehicular traffic. Bill having been for the House Committee on Transportation, the committee recommends this bill do pass by way of a committee substitute. Bill's being read today for its third time.
Chair recognizes the Chairman of the House Transportation Committee, Chairman Roberts, to present the bill. Chairman Roberts.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Ladies and gentlemen of the House, I bring to you today House Bill 384. It's a bill that has come out of a task force that was developed, and they met this past summer trying to figure out a way to go in and develop a law that would be applicable all across the state of Georgia. Right now, we've got cities that have passed ordinances that really aren't abiding by the law in the state of Georgia because it's so broad and vague. And let me tell you basically what it says. It says, ordinances establishing operating standards shall not be effective unless appropriate signs giving notice are posted along the public streets, which means basically any street where a golf cart could cross has to be posted. And most of your cities do not have that posting. In fact, probably Peachtree City may be the only state or city within the state that actually has the correct signage. What this bill simply does is say that you have to put up signs where you're coming in. If it's the city ordinance at your city limit sign stating that this is a community that does allow golf carts, one, so that those people that are driving into the community that aren't familiar with it would know up front, and also to protect the citizens that are there as well that might be going back and forth across the streets. You know, I think these are ordinances that's been passed over the years more and more, and as gas prices continue to go up, we'll probably hear more about them. But anyway, this was brought to me by our city attorney. GMA and ACCG are both okay with the bill. I let them look at it, and they all agreed, and they said, we're fine with it. We like what it does. It just brings some uniformity here in the state of Georgia to this law. Speaker, I'd be glad to answer any questions. If not, I ask your favorable consideration, and I yield the way.
You have questions.
Okay.
Do you yield?
Yes, sir.
Chair recognizes Representative Drenner to your left for a question.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Do you yield?
Yes, ma'am.
Friendly question. Can you speak to the provision in the bill that ask local governments to pay for these particular signs?
Sure. Right now, currently, that was actually an amendment that was added in committee, but actually currently they're already paying for the signs that are out there anyway. This will actually probably reduce the number of signs that they're having to put up. And, you know, you could end up, if everybody abided by the law, a lot of your cities may not even be able to afford them because of the amount of signs they would have to put up, not to mention the sign pollution that you would see. So that's why we actually put it in the bill as well.
You have other questions if you care to yield?
I'll yield for one more, Mr. Speaker.
Okay, we got, well, you got three chairman questions.
Okay.
Chair recognizes Chairman Burns to your right for a question.
I don't yield to him. Next question.
Okay, moving on.
I'm just playing. Absolutely, I'd yield to him.
Gentleman, yield.
Yes, sir.
I wish you would reference a little more precisely this task force that met over the summer. And my other question really is, as we deal with this sign pollution you mentioned, have you had any discussion about where these signs will be placed? Because we know of the additional expense of mowing and cutting around signs on the right-of-ways. Could you address those 2 points for me, Mr.
Well,
Chairman?
actually, you could actually post these signs on the current signs that are already there for the city limits. So you could actually go in there and post them on them. So as far as the more pollution there, I don't think you would see it. As far as the task force, it was a group of mayors and county commissioners and attorneys throughout the state of Georgia that actually met throughout the summer on this task force to try to develop a law that was applicable all across the state.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Appreciate your thoroughness on this issue.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
You have another question if you care to yield.
I'm going to do it one more, Mr. Speaker.
All right. Chair recognizes Chairman McCall to your right for a question. You could have handled this while you were sitting over there.
You're right. Why didn't you skip over them and go?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. We tried to get this question answered while he was sitting over here, and he refused to. On line, gentlemen, yield, sir, please.
Yes, absolutely.
On line 15, you talk about the size of the sign being 24 by 30. Is that vertical, horizontal, or perpendicular to the slant of the ground that the post is going to be put on?
It doesn't matter as long as it's 24 by 30. Mr. Speaker, I'm going to yield to well on that and ask for your
favorable. You have other questions.
I'm going to yield, Mr. Speaker, and ask for your favorable consideration.
All right, the gentleman has yielded the well. Is there any objection to the previous question being ordered? The chair hears none. The previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to adopting the committee substitute? The chair hears none. The committee substitute is adopted. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee, which was favorable to the passage of the bill? The chair hears none. The report of the committee is agreed to. Shall this bill now pass? All those in favor of the passage of House Bill 384 will vote yes. Those opposed will vote no. And the clerk will unlock the machines. Have all members voted? Have all members voted? If so, the clerk will lock the machines. On the passage of House Bill 384, the ayes are 166, the nays are 6. This bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed. Clerk will read the caption to House Bill 226. House Bill 226.
House Bill 226 by Representative Nix, 69th Bill of Entitled Act, amending Title 12 relating to solid waste management generally, so as to revise certain requirements related to tire transportation, storage, and disposal. Proper definitions, correct cross-references, provide enforcement authority to certain officers to require permits, vehicle decals for used tire scrap carriers. Amend the official code of Georgia annotated relating to general provisions regarding the Environmental Protection Division and the Environmental Advisory Council so as to update effective date of rules and regulations for purposes of criminal law enforcement. Bill having been before the House Committee on Natural Resources and Environment. Committee recommends that this bill do pass by way of a committee substitute. The bill is being read today for the third time.
Chair recognizes Chairman Nix to present the bill. Chairman Nix.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Ladies and gentlemen, I bring to you House Bill 226 today. A little background on this is many of you know I started working on the scrap tire issue a couple of years ago when I carried the bill to renew the $1 tire fee. And I pledged at that time to try to do everything I could to address this issue. And this is another piece of legislation to do that. Since we did the first bill and began to work with it, I'm proud to tell you that the Georgia Department of Transportation has approved the process of using asphalt, of using the scrap tires in our asphalt, our paving, which is a major opportunity for the state, creates a market for those tires. What I want to bring to you today is a bill that will help address this problem at its source. I know most of you, I've had a lot of you tell me that you do have problems with scrap tires in your district, and this is something that I think will help. The EPD director made a statement not too long ago that said the money we spend or the effort we spend up front has a much greater return on investment than what we spend on the back end when we have to go out and clean up
the messes that are made. So this bill addresses that. One of the problems we have is that with the scrap tire business, there's a distinction between scrap tires and used tires. If you are hauling around a load of tires that are scrap tires, you're supposed to be permitted to do that. But if you call those used tires, then you're not required to have a permit. And that's something that's getting pretty old, and this will take away that distinction. Georgia has had a model program in this area, and I think it's something that we need to address. I want you to know that I've worked with all the members of the industry. We worked with the Tire Dealers Association, the recyclers, with EPD, and even in the auto recyclers, metal recyclers. So if you'll look at the bill with me, I'll go through it real quickly, please. Section 1, now this doesn't have anything to do with tires, the first part there, but the EPD has asked us as we open this section to update the definition of compost and composting to make them comply with the U.S. Compost Council's definition. So that's done in Section 1, lines 16 through 20. At the bottom of page 1 there, tire carrier means any person engaged in collecting or transporting tires other than new tires. Here again, that takes away the distinction of the used versus scrap tires. On top of page 2, here again, we're talking about what a used tire is. It defines that. And that came directly from the rules and regulations that EPD actually has now. In Section 2, again, we take away that distinction between scrap tires and used tires. It's not just scrap tires anymore, but it includes the used tires, those people that may be hauling tires. Section 4 on page 3, this is a change. As you know, EPD has had their funds cut. Their ability to enforce this has been significantly limited. Section 4 will give the enforcement authority to the local law enforcement and code enforcement people to be able to enforce this. And this is something that the city of Atlanta passed an ordinance last summer that incorporated this, and we think that will give an opportunity to do more enforcement. Top of page 4, again, we're distinguishing, we're taking away the distinction between scrap tires and used tires. And then we get to the key here on line 100. We're asking that those people that are hauling those tires that are not new tires obtain a tire carrier permit issued by EPD and display it on those vehicles that will be used to do that. And down on line 113, we will ask them to pay the division a nominal fee for each of these decals. We talked about the fee amount. It's not a money maker, but just something that they can do so that they can identify the legitimate people in the business. We talk about what processing scrap tires means. We have a definition, line 114 through 116. And then down at the bottom of that page, we have some exceptions from those people who would have to have a decal. And I think it's important that you need to look at that. Line 121, a private individual transporting no more than 10 of the individual's own scrap tires. We started with the number 4 there, and then somebody said they had a dually, and dually has 6 tires, and we said, okay, if you got your tires and your wife's car's tires, 10, you're still okay. And then we talk about a private individual transporting more than 10 tires if they can provide proof of purchase that they didn't just go out and pick these up off of somebody's back lot. At the bottom of that page, also a tire retailer transporting its own used tires does not have to have the decal if they have a document showing where they got them and where they're taking them. And then finally, at the top of page 5, we eliminated those people who were in an organized community cleanup. The last thing we wanted to do was to stop the people that are going out and doing the cleanup and hindering them. And that number 5 there, line 130, takes care of those folks. Line 146, 147, we limit the number of tires that any person can store, reducing that number from 100 to 25. And then down, we have some exceptions to that. On line 151, a tire retailer with not more than 1,500 scrap tires, we cut it from 3,000. A tire retreader, we actually raised that number because they have tires coming in and tires going out, and they needed that. And then on line 154, we put in the licensed used motor vehicle parts dealer and define them instead of just an auto salvage yard. One of the key provisions you'll find in lines 158 through 162, and that is the requirement that all of the scrap tires are secured in a locked enclosure or otherwise adequately secured in a manner suitable to prevent unauthorized access. And we think this is the key because what happens many times, the tire retailers will take those tires and just put them out back. They've already charged a fee for them, but they'll put them out back, and then people come along in the middle of the night and take those tires. They'll call them used tires. They'll use 2 or 3 of them, and then the rest of them end up getting dumped in the ditch or on the back lot. And also, one of the things we did not want to do is penalize any of the small businesses in this area, and we put a provision in there where EPD can actually waiver that if that will cause a unique economic hardship on that business. And finally, if you'll look on page 8 of the bill, and this is bonding. If you're going to be hauling the scrap or used tires, you have to have a bond. We changed that from a not to exceed $25,000 to not less than $10,000 or greater than $20,000. The reason for the change, previously most people would go in and get a $5,000 bond, but that just does not cover the problems that are created there. And then finally, in Section 6, we update the EPD's effective date on this, and this approves their actions, but it limits them going forward to the actions we permit. Mr. Speaker, that is my analysis of the bill. I'll be glad to stand for questions. If not, if there are no questions, I'll yield and ask for favorable consideration.
You have a question.
I'll yield.
Chair recognizes Representative Williamson to your right for a question.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Does the gentleman yield?
Yes, sir.
Representative Nix, I very much applaud the intent of this legislation and generally support it, but I notice in beginning, with the exceptions to the Act, there's really no provision for a landowner, a landlord, be it a residential landlord or a commercial landlord, where unknown to the landowner, landlord that has residential property or commercial property, that they might discover through no actions of their own that tires have been dumped on the property. Does the landowner, for example, if he or she discovers that they might have a gully, somebody's been on the land dumping illegally, would the landowner have to go to EPD and buy a permit to remove these scrap tires?
That is a good question, and I can't give you a firm answer. I'd have to get with EPD. This doesn't change any of their previous operations, so how they had done that previously would apply. This does not change any of that. So I honestly don't know the answer to that question.
Does the gentleman further yield?
Yes.
Would you be open-minded, maybe let's protecting our landlord situations and/or landowner situations in situations such as that, maybe fix it in the Senate? Because I very much support the intent of the legislation.
Representative, I hate to think about trying to fix anything in the Senate, to be honest with you. But
I'm still young enough to ask the question as far as being a legislator.
If you will get with me, let's get with EPD and see how they handle that now before we try to make a fix, if that's okay.
Thank you so much.
Yes, sir.
You have another question if you care to yield.
I'll take one more, Mr. Speaker.
Chair recognizes Chairman McCall to your right for a question.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This is a serious question, if the gentleman would yield. On line 146, you're changing where no person may store 100 tires down to 25. My question is, if a farmer has a tire changer machine in his shop and Harrow tires and trailer tires are all the time blowing out, and he's changing his own tires and having to have a stack of them before he's able to get rid of them, and there's probably 40 or 50 in it. Is this talking about a private individual who just has them laying in the edge of the woods until it gets time to do something with them? or either covering hay or silage pits or anything like that.
When we addressed this issue, we had EPD there, and they discussed this, and they felt like that was a reasonable number. So they said that they didn't feel like that would be a problem for anybody. So that's how we came up with that number.
I guess my question is, what is storing tires? If you covering hay with plastic and using the tires to hold it down, or if you got plastic over a pit silo and the tires are what everybody uses to hold the plastic from the wind blowing off, is that a violation of the code, or is that a use of those tires?
Here again, I don't know how EPD handles that now, but I would not think that it changes it the way that they handle that particular thing now. This would be someone who is just taking tires and putting them out there and really outside of the rules and regulations, just starting a tire pile, if you would say.
You do realize if they would open up the law and let you use them to burn dozer piles, we wouldn't have this problem.
Well, probably so. Mr. Speaker, I will yield the well, and I will ask for your favorable... You have no further questions. Thank you. I will ask for your favorable consideration to House Bill 226.
The gentleman has yielded the well. Is there any objection to the previous question being ordered on House Bill 226? The chair hears none. The previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to adopting the committee substitute? The chair hears none. The committee substitute is adopted. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee, which was favorable to the passage of the bill? The chair hears none. The report of the committee is agreed to. Shall this bill now pass? All those in favor of the passage of House Bill 226 will vote yes. All those opposed will vote no, and the clerk will unlock the machines. Have all members voted? Have all members voted? If so, the clerk will lock the machines. On the passage of House Bill 226, the ayes are 139, the nays are 33. This bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed. The chair, on its own motion, will postpone House Bill 287 to the next legislative day. This measure was on the rules calendar yesterday and was postponed and will be postponed for an additional day.
Yes, sir.
Clerk will read the caption to House Bill 302. House Bill 302.
House Bill 302 by Representative Broderick of the 4th, a bill being entitled Act amending Title 16 relating to controlled substances, so as to add substances included, Schedule 1 controlled substances, add substances included under Schedule 3 controlled substances, to revise drugs and substances identified as dangerous drugs, to revise exceptions to, exemptions from drugs identified as dangerous drugs, provide for related matters. Bill having been before the House Committee on Judiciary and Non-Civil, committee recommends the bill do pass by way of a committee substitute. Be read the third time.
Chair recognizes Representative Broderick. Actually, you're supposed to wait till I recognize you before you go to the well, Representative.
Pardon me.
Let's try that again. Okay. Chair recognizes Representative Broderick to... I don't think I got it out of my mouth, did I?
Got close. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
We might need to postpone consideration of this measure. Let's try it one more time.
One more time.
Now, I'm going to ask the clerk to hold you. Chair recognizes Representative Broderick to present the bill. Representative Broderick.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker and members of the House, I come to you today with House Bill 302. This is a housekeeping bill, an annual drug update bill in which we take new drugs and put them into the Georgia Code. The bill does have a due pass from the committee, and I would ask for your favorable consideration on the bill. Again, it's the annual drug update bill, and I will yield to questions.
You have a question. Chair, do you yield?
I yield, yes, sir.
Chair recognizes Representative Taylor to your right for a question.
Chair Broderick, is this in fact your first bill in the well?
Yes, sir.
Just asking. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
You have another question.
I'll yield.
Chair recognizes Chairman Sims to your left for a question.
Gentleman, yield.
I yield, yes, sir.
You said this is where we put drugs in the code. Is that intermuscularly or intravenously?
It depends on the route of administration. I'll yield to one more question, Speaker.
Okay, well, I would hope so. Chair recognizes the Majority Caucus Whip, Representative Lindsay, to your right for a question.
Will the gentleman yield?
Yes, sir, I will.
This is a bill about drugs. I just want to make sure, are you licensed?
I am licensed by the state of Georgia as a pharmacist.
So you're a drug peddler then?
By legal statute, yes, sir.
Congratulations on your first bill.
Thank you. No further questions.
You have no further questions.
I would appreciate your favorable consideration. Thank you.
Gentleman has yielded the well. Is there any objection to the previous question being ordered? The chair hears none. The previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to adopting the committee substitute? The chair hears none. The committee substitute is adopted. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee, which was favorable to the passage of the bill? The chair hears none. The report of the committee is agreed to. Shall this bill now pass? All those in favor of the passage of House Bill 302 will vote yes. Those opposed will vote no, and the clerk will unlock the machines. Have all members voted? Have all members voted? If so, the clerk will lock the machines on the passage of House Bill 302. The ayes are 169, the nays are 1. This bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed. Chair recognizes, the clerk will read the caption to House Bill 315. House Bill 315.
House Bill 315 by Representative Cooper, 43rd, a bill of entitled Title 43, relating to registered professional nurses, so to provide for continuing competency requirements as a requirement of license renewal. Bill having been for the House Committee on Health and Human Services. Committee recommends that this bill do pass. Bill is being read today for the third time.
Chair recognizes Chairman Cooper to present the bill. Chairman Cooper.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Ladies and gentlemen of the House, I bring for you House Bill 315. This would require that registered nurses have 30 hours of continuing education credit every 2 years, starting with the relicensing process in 2016. The bill gives several ways that the nurses can receive these credits if they complete a PhD program or a master's level program. If they are a nurse practitioner and they have CMEs for recreditation for their nurse practitioner license, or if they work for a hospital titled under Hospital 31 and the hospital will verify that they have had the continuing education credits. The bill also allows the board to give a new type of license. It is an inactive status. We have nurses that want to die but still call themselves RNs, and they're 90s and their 90s and their 80s, and by going on an inactive status, they would not have to pay the 2-year renewal fee, but they could still say they were RNs until they passed away. And of course, if a nurse went on inactive status like myself, if I ever wanted to go back into active practice with patients, I would have to go back on active status and meet the board's requirements for that. Mr. Speaker, if there are no questions, I will yield the well. Thank you very much.
You have no questions.
Thank you.
The lady has yielded the well. Is there any objection to the previous question being ordered? The chair hears none. The previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee, which was favorable to the passage of the bill? The chair hears none. The report of the committee is agreed to. Shall this bill now pass? All those in favor of the passage of House Bill 315 will vote yes. Those opposed will vote no. And the clerk will unlock the machines. Have all members now voted? Have all members voted? If so, the clerk will lock the machine on the passage of House Bill 315. The ayes are 172, the nays are 2. This bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed. Clerk will read the caption to House Bill 252. House Bill 252.
House Bill 252 by Representative Quick of the 117th. The bill being entitled Act to provide that future elections, office of Chief Magistrate, Judge, Magistrate Court, Athens, Clark County shall be a nonpartisan elections. Bill having been for the House Committee on Intergovernmental Coordination. Committee recommends that this bill do pass. The bill is being read today for its third time.
Now, Representative Broderick needs to observe that Representative Quick has remained seated until she's recognized, so I appreciate that. Chair recognizes Representative Quick to present the bill. Representative Quick.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and ladies and gentlemen. I am honored to be here on behalf of the Athens delegation, asking for your favorable consideration for House Bill 252. The bill changes the position of Chief Magistrate of Athens-Clarke County and Athens-Clarke County only to a nonpartisan election. In Athens, this is requested by the incumbent and has bipartisan support. So I would ask for your favorable consideration of this matter of local control for Athens-Clarke County. With that, Mr. Speaker, if there are questions, I'll take them, and otherwise I'll yield.
Well, it appears that you do not have any questions.
Excellent.
A good job of explaining the bill, I would say.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I yield the well.
Lady has yielded the well. Is there any objection to the previous question being ordered? The chair hears none. The previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee which was favorable to the passage of the bill? The chair hears none. The report of the committee is agreed to. Shall this bill now pass? All those in favor of the passage of House Bill 252 will vote yes. Those opposed will vote no, and the clerk will unlock the machines. Have all members voted? Have all members voted? If so, the clerk will lock the machines on the passage of House Bill 252. The ayes are 150, the nays are 23. This bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed. Clerk will read the caption to House Resolution 205. House Resolution 205.
House Resolution 205 by Representative Neal II, a resolution authorizing the conveyance of certain state-owned real property, providing an effective date. Resolution having been for the House Committee on State Properties, and the committee recommends the resolution do pass, being read for the third time. Hey, Willie.
Chair recognizes Chairman Neal to present the bill. Chairman Neal.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Ladies and gentlemen of the House, this is our annual state conveyance of properties bill. We have went through the process, surplusing the properties, notifying local legislators of the properties within their districts, and taking it through the committee process as always. We ask for your favorable consideration for the annual property conveyance bill. Mr. Speaker, I yield the well.
You have no questions. Is there any objection to the previous question being ordered? The chair hears none. The previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee, which was favorable to the adoption of the resolution? The chair hears none. The report of the committee is agreed to. Shall this resolution now be adopted? All those in favor of the adoption of the resolution will vote yes. Those opposed will vote no, and the clerk will unlock the machines. Have all members voted? Have all members voted? If so, the clerk will lock the machines on the passage of House Resolution 205. The ayes are 174, the nays are 0. This resolution, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore adopted. The clerk will read the resolution to House Bill 187. House Bill 187.
House Bill 187 by Representative Dickerson, 113th. The bill being entitled Act amending Code Section 1613.32.6 relating to manufacturing, distributing, dispensing, possessing with intent to distribute controlled substance or marijuana in, on, or within drug-free commercial zones so as to change the date of incorporation of local ordinances by reference. Bill having been before the House Committee on Judiciary Non-Civil. The committee recommends the bill to pass. Bill is read today for its third time.
Chair recognizes Representative Dickerson to present the bill. Representative Dickerson.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. To my colleagues, House Bill 187, it's a bill that will allow the city of Porterdale in Newton County to become a drug-free commercial zone. And this goes into effect for 5 years. There are 4 other cities that have this designation. That's the city of Eatonton, Atlanta, Social Circle, and College Park. I ask for your favorable consideration in passing this bill. Thank you.
You have a couple of questions if you care to yield.
I yield, Mr. Speaker.
Chair recognizes the Minority Caucus Whip, Representative Hughley, to your left for a question.
Does the lady yield?
Yes, I do.
Tell us how much drug is going on in your downtown that we need this bill.
There's enough that the city of the city of Porterdale would like to control it. And I think this is a good bill, Representative Hughley.
Thank you.
There are other questions.
You do have another question if you yield.
I yield, Mr. Speaker.
Chair recognizes the gentleman from Liberty County, Representative Williams, to your left for a question. Shall I get some order so everybody can hear this?
Some order, Mr. Speaker, please.
I yield, yes, I yield, Mr. Representative
I haven't
Williams.
asked you yet. I'm just curious. You have been to the well so much and passed so many bills. Would you share your secret with those of us that are trying to get on that road?
Representative Williams, that's for each member to figure out for himself. Mr. Speaker, with that, I yield the well.
You have no further questions. The lady has yielded the well. Is there any objection to the previous question being ordered? The chair hears none. The previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee, which was favorable to the passage of the bill? The chair hears none. The report of the committee is agreed to. Shall this bill now pass? All those in favor of the passage of House Bill 187 will vote yes. All those opposed will vote no, and the clerk will unlock the machines. Have all members voted? Have all members voted? If so, the clerk will lock the machines on the passage of House Bill 187. The ayes are 171, the nays are 2. This bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed. Clerk will read the caption to House Bill 141. House Bill 141.
House Bill 141, Representative Lindsay of the 54th, a bill being entitled Act amending Title 16 relating to kidnapping, false imprisonment, related offenses, so as to require certain businesses and establishments to post a model notice so as to enable persons who are the subject of human trafficking to obtain help and services. Provide for the Department of Public Safety to develop and post the model notice on its website and provide for penalties and related matters. Bill has been for the House Committee on Judiciary and Non-Civil. Committee recommends the bill to pass by way of a committee substitute. Bill is being read today for the third time.
Chair recognizes the Majority Caucus Whip, Representative Lindsay, to present the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. After some of the abuse that I've given to some of our newest members, I'm a little bit nervous about coming up and presenting a bill. I'm not so sure whether or not payback time is about to arrive. Most of us have seen the movie Lincoln and have watched that movie as the Congress struggled to pass the 13th Amendment to our Constitution. On a bill like this, I think it's important to note that language in that bill, in that constitutional amendment, which states, neither slavery nor involuntary servitude, except as punishment for crime whereof the party shall have been duly convicted, shall exist within the United States or any place subject to their jurisdiction. It is with great regret that I must inform you that slavery continues to exist almost 150 years after that constitutional amendment was originally passed by Congress. It comes in the form of human trafficking. 2 years ago, this legislature, and in this chamber in particular, made a great leap forward when we passed overwhelmingly House Bill 200, which created one of the strongest laws in the nation for combating human trafficking. Today, we can continue that move in the right direction with the passage of House Bill 141. What 141 will do is simply this. It will mandate the posting of a national trafficking hotline number in adult entertainment venues, truck stops, hotels, bars, bus stations, airports, and other places where prostitution or labor trafficking is taking place or suspected. Counselors, through this hotline, can connect callers to over 3,000 resources throughout the United States and in Georgia. The National Human Trafficking Resource Center hotline operates by the Polaris Project through a funding from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and there's no cost to the state of Georgia for maintaining this hotline. It has received, since it first came up in operation in December 2007, over 6,000 calls from every state in this country. At the present time, several states, including Alabama, Tennessee, and Texas, as well as 9 other states, have passed this particular bill which mandates this particular posting. What the bill will do simply is this. We have worked very hard in this state to put together the necessary services to assist the victims of human trafficking and the necessary laws to crack down on the human traffickers. But if we cannot reach the victims themselves and give them a lifeline to call and crawl out of that hole that they are presently in as a result of human trafficking, we will have done no good. On the TV show, on the game show that we all sort of watch, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, it always asks, do you want a lifeline? Well, folks, this is people's lifeline for sure. And I ask for your favorable consideration of the bill. Now, there are 3 amendments to the bill. The first one is being offered by Chairman Roberts, myself, and others, dealing with farmers since they do not maintain an office. I support that amendment, and I ask for your favorable consideration of that. The second one is from Chairman Setzler, which closes down the time period for a sunset on this from 2024 to 2019. And the reason we have a sunset put into the bill is to make sure that the law is in fact being effective. And if it's not, allows us a time period in the future to tweak it or to withdraw it. I support this amendment as well. The third amendment being offered, quite frankly, makes me feel like a fish being caught in my friend over here's Liberty County. I feel as if I'm being gutted. And that's exactly what it is. I feel as if a knife is coming right about here and extending up to here, and all my innards are being taken out, because that's exactly what this third amendment will do. By changing from shall to may, we will in effect be gutting the entire bill and taking out the entire effectiveness of what this bill can do and what it has been shown to do in those 12 other states that have passed this legislation. So I strongly urge you to oppose that amendment. And with that, Mr. Speaker, if there are any questions, I'll be happy to answer them.
You have a question if you care to yield.
I will, sir.
Chair recognizes Chairman Sims to your left for a question.
Yes, sir.
The gentleman yield.
Yes.
This friendly question, I'm for you, Bill, and support you in everything you're doing here.
Appreciate that.
My question, though, does the onus of these notices put somebody, I mean, at an onus that this is taking place at this facility? Is it the onus? My question to you is, in the abundance of caution, does it do that? Can you explain that to me?
No, it doesn't. These are just simply the types of places where it's likely to be taking place, or likely that a victim of human trafficking is going to be traveling through. These are the type places which will be there, which a victim of human trafficking is likely, quite frankly, to have been carried through. And in fact, a lot of folks are already voluntarily putting this up in their place of establishment because they want to make it very clear that human trafficking is not welcome in their establishments.
Understand, we further yield.
Yes,
as far as the farm work, every farm is not going to have to put this down. Is that correct?
That's that's the purpose of the amendment that Chairman Roberts and I have put together.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Speaker?
You have another question if you care to yield.
I will.
Chair recognizes the Minority Caucus Whip, Representative Hughley, to your left for a question.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Does the gentleman yield?
I'll be happy to yield to my counterpart.
Thank you. Would you clarify for me why we're moving the date back from 2024 to 2019?
Well, the whole idea of putting a sunset date in there was for us to be able to come back and re-examine its effectiveness. I wanted to have it to be at least 5 years, if not 10 years. In talking to the various folks, in 5 years, some of us will still be here, and we will have some type of firsthand knowledge as to the original reason why we passed the bill, and so that those of us who will be here another 5 years will be able to determine whether or not something needs to continue. I think it's going to prove to be very effective, and we're going to very quickly pass it and continue it on. But the whole purpose of putting a sunset in there within a reasonable time period is to sort of gauge the effectiveness of the law and see whether or not we need to further tweak it. In 5 years, we may be asking that it be put up by electronic format. I don't know what the future is going to hold.
Thank you. On this other amendment, if you will yield for one other question.
Sure. Which one?
AM 400051. Is that the same kind of amendment that in the old days we would call a catfish amendment, which would negate the whole purpose of this bill?
Absolutely. Like I said earlier, I think the old term used to be grooverized. For those who remember that great representative from Macon, Georgia, and that's what this amendment would do. It would grooverize and gut the entire bill. So with that, Mr. Speaker, I ask for once again for the favorable consideration of this bill. I ask for the body to also approve Amendment AM 390037 dealing with farms. It's an excellent amendment. I ask for this body to also accept the amendment AM 293848 from Chairman Setzler. It's also an excellent amendment. I ask for this body to defeat AM 400051. Let us say with this vote a very loud and clear way that not in our Georgia will this ever be permitted or sanctioned. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I yield the will.
You had no further questions. The gentleman has yielded the well. We had other members who had signed up to speak on the measure. The chair recognizes Representative Brockway to speak to the bill. Representative Brockway.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to pick up on something that Representative Lindsay began talking about. Why a mandate? Why do we need to mandate that this happen? I'm a guy who doesn't like mandating. I don't like forcing business to do things. That's kind of against my nature and I think against Republican principles. But why is it necessary in this case that we need to mandate that these posters be placed at these particular locations? And that's because the places where we need them the most, places like strip clubs, places like MARTA stations and other transportation stations, have up to now been unwilling to put these posters there. There's a private group of people who are out here working hard and getting these posters up at places, and they've been unsuccessful in getting these posters put in these locations where they're needed the most. And we've seen results already. As these posters have gone up, we've seen an increase in calls to the Polaris Project hotline in Georgia. What that means is suspected cases and actual cases of human trafficking are being reported, and those folks are getting the help that they need. Again, I am not a person who likes mandates. I'd prefer not to have to tell these private businesses what they can hang in their facility, but in this particular case, I think this is extremely necessary. This is a serious crime. Atlanta, unfortunately, is a hub of this because of our strengths as a transportation region and as the capital of the South. This is the kind of crimes that are attracted to our city, and we just have no choice in this case to mandate this and to help these victims get the help that they need. And I'll be happy to answer any questions. Otherwise, I'll yield the well, Mr. Speaker.
You have no questions.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Chair recognizes Chairman Setzler to speak to the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Ladies and gentlemen of the House, I'll be very brief. I wanted to speak on the amendment AM 213848, which changed the sunset from 10 years to 5 years. There was a lot of discussion in committee about the applicability of this bill. I think there's a recognition, as we heard testimony in non-civil judiciary committee, that what we want to get is we want to put this in place and create a culture of compliance where there may be hotels, there may be businesses that wouldn't voluntarily do this, but once they're in place, we can perhaps remove the heavy hand of the law, step back, and allow this practice to continue, because we've created a culture of compliance with this across the state. That's really what the initiation of this bill, I think, does. We accomplished that with a 5-year sunset as well as we do with a 10-year sunset. I think one thing that Chairman, or the Majority Whip Lindsey said is that this is consistent with tax bills. We'll typically put tax measures in place for 5 years so that the same General Assembly or many of the members that passed a measure can be there to reconsider the measure 5 years later as opposed to 10 years. Recognizing the turnover, many of us wouldn't even be here to reconsider this. So I would offer to you AM 213848. It's, again, I'd like to thank the Majority Whip for accepting this as a friendly amendment, and I would commit it to you. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Okay, you had a question. What purpose does Representative Wilkerson rise? He waves. Okay, is there any objection to the previous question being ordered? Chair hears none. The previous question is ordered. There are three amendments that are offered to the bill. The first amendment is the Roberts-Lindsey et al. Amendment. It is AM 390037. Clerk will read the caption to that amendment.
Representative Roberts, 155th, and others offer the following amendment. Amend to substitute House Bill 141, LC 295533S. And this amendment, under modified open rule, has been printed and placed on your desk 1 hour prior to debate. The number in the upper right-hand corner of this amendment is AM 390037.
Is there any objection to the adoption of the Roberts Amendment 0037? Chair hears none. The amendment is adopted. The next amendment is the Setzler Amendment. It is AM 213848. Clerk will read the caption to the Setzler Amendment.
Representative Setzler, 35th, Representative Golick, Representative Roberts, 155th, offer the following amendment. Amend the House Committee on Judiciary Non-Civil Substitute, House Bill 141. This amendment printed and placed on your desk, upper right-hand corner, AM 213848.
Is there objection to the Setzler amendment, AM 213848? Chair hears none. That amendment is adopted. The next amendment is the Pizzo-Caldwell amendment. Mr. Clerk, did that make the time limit barely? Okay, that is timely by a few minutes. That is AM 400051. AM 400051. The clerk will read the caption.
Representative Pizzo of the 133rd, Representative Caldwell of 20th, offer the following amendment, amending a substitute, House Bill 141. In this amendment, printed and placed on your desk, it's upper right-hand corner, AM 400051.
Is there any objection to the adoption of the Pizzo amendment, AM 400051? There is objection. Does the gentleman move? Does the gentleman move? The gentleman move? Do you want the amendment? The gentleman is moved, and there is objection. All those in favor of adopting the Pizzo-Caldwell amendment, AM 400051, all those in favor of that amendment will vote yes. Those opposed will vote no, and the clerk will unlock the machines. Have all members voted? Have all members voted? If so, the clerk will lock the machine on the adoption of the Pizzo-Caldwell amendment. The ayes are 9. The nays are 163. The amendment has failed. Is there any objection to adopting the committee substitute as amended? The chair hears none. The committee substitute as amended is adopted. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee, which was favorable to the passage of the bill? The chair hears none. The report of the committee is agreed to. Shall this bill now pass? All those in favor of the passage of the bill will vote yes. All those opposed will vote no, and the clerk will unlock the machines. Have all members voted? Have all members voted? If so, the clerk will lock the machines on the passage of House Bill 141. The ayes are 171, the nays are 1. This bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed. What purpose does Chairman Rogers rise?
Mr. Speaker, I would like to ask the House to temporarily suspend the rules of the House so a bill may be read and assigned to the committee for the first time.
The gentleman has moved this House that it temporarily suspend its rules to allow a bill to be read for the first time and assigned to committee. The clerk will read the caption.
A resolution by Representative Rogers, 29th, a resolution dedicating the Lanier Islands Parkway and for other purposes.
On the gentleman's motion that the rules of this House be temporarily suspended to allow a bill to be read for the first time and assigned to committee. Is there objection? The chair hears none, and it is so ordered. Transportation. What purpose? Chairman Sims, were you wanting to be recognized? What purpose does Chairman Sims rise?
To request a meeting this afternoon.
Can you restate that, Madam Chair?
I don't believe this is my body. I think it must have been the other chairman's.
Oh, okay. All right. She waves. Clerk will read the caption to a group of privileged resolutions. The clerk will read.
First resolution is an invitation resolution. It's being read for the first time today to be referred to the Committee on Rules. The resolution by Representative Stevens, 164th, recognizing and honoring the members of St. Patrick's Day Parade Committee on the upcoming occasion of the 2013 St. Patrick's Day Parade in Savannah, and inviting them to appear before the House of Representatives. The following resolutions are privilege resolutions being read for the first time today for adoption. Resolution by Representative Carson, 46, congratulating Carrie Elizabeth Trimble, Jason Matthew Walker on the occasion of their wedding. Resolution by Representative Kirby of the 114th, congratulating the Loganville Middle School Lady Red Devils basketball team winning the 2013 Piedmont Athletic Conference Championship. A resolution by Representative Hamilton, 24th, recognizing and commending Chairman J. Ethan Underwood, occasion of his retirement. A resolution by Representative Jaspers, the 11th, recognizing and commending Jeff Stanzel. A resolution by Representative Taylor, the 173rd, recognizing and commending Senator John D. Bullock, Jr. on his outstanding achievements. Resolution by Representative Scott, 76, commending Ms. Melissa Brinson, Oakview Elementary School's 2012-2013 Teacher of the Year. Resolution by Representative Golick, 40th, honoring the Cumberland Community Improvement District. Resolution by Representative Oliver of the 82nd, recognizing and commending linemen from Georgia Power and International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers Local 84, members of the Georgia AFL-CIO, for their diligence in responding to the needs of the individuals in the aftermath of Hurricane Sandy. Resolution by Representative Mosby of the 83rd, commending the social work profession, recognizing March 2013 as Professional Social Work Month at the state capitol. Resolution by Representative McCall, 33rd, recognizing and commending William Alexander Bradford on his exemplary patriotism. And a resolution by Representative Gardner, 57th, recognizing and commending Dr. Don Meck, along with a resolution by Representative Gardner, 57th, recognizing and commending Dr. Jennifer Kelly through the privilege resolutions.
Is there objection to the adoption of the privilege resolutions? The chair hears none, and the resolutions are adopted. If you haven't had your page photographs made today, we'll be doing those at the podium immediately upon adjournment. We have a lot of announcements. Chair's going to ask that the House remain at attention for the announcements. Chair recognizes for an announcement Representative Ellis Black. Representative Black.
There's Jason and Amy. Y'all come on down. The Lowndes County delegation. We'd like to invite all of y'all to come on down and have some quail tonight. Just caution you to be a little bit careful when you bite down into it. Don't want you to break a crown on the bird shot in it.
Yeah, 5 or 7.
It's at 5 o'clock in the depot.
Were you going to sing, Representative Sharper? House be in order, please. Chair recognizes the chairman of the House Appropriations Committee, Chairman England, for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Members, I just want to let you know that we will be having a full
Appropriations Committee meeting 7:30 Friday morning. I think we're coming in a little bit early so everybody can get on home. I think the calendar may be a little bit tedious, but I think we're going to have an early start time. So we're going to meet at 7:30 so we can be out of the way of rules that morning. But we've got the Hope Grant bill that we need to go ahead and move. So it is ready. So again, 7:30 Friday morning. Subcommittees have been canceled for Friday. We're kind of holding up just a little bit to see about sequestration, see if there's anything we need to handle on that. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Chair recognizes the Chairman of the Ways and Means Committee, Chairman Chanel, for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The Income Tax Subcommittee of Ways and Means will meet today at 1 o'clock in 133 of the Capitol. The Sales Tax Subcommittee of Ways and Means will meet today at 3 p.m. in 133 of the Capitol. And the Ad Valorem Subcommittee will meet today at 4 o'clock in 133 of the Capitol. Thank you.
Chair recognizes Chairman Barbara Sims for an announcement. Chairman Sims.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The Resolution Subcommittee of Transportation will meet at 3 p.m. in CLOB 515. Thank you.
Chair recognizes Representative Tom Taylor for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The full Regulated Industries Committee will meet at 3 o'clock this afternoon in 406 CLOB. That's 406 CLOB at 3 o'clock. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Chair recognizes Chairman Hamilton for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The Industry and Labor Committee has a full committee meeting this afternoon at 4 p.m. in 515. 4 p.m. 515. Thank you.
Chair recognizes Representative Harbin for an announcement. Representative Harbin.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The Telecommunications Subcommittee of Energy, Utilities, and Telecommunications will meet today at 2 p.m. in 506 of the Coverdale Office Building. 2 p.m. Thank you.
Chair recognizes Representative Pack for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Ladies and gentlemen of the House, tomorrow is going to be the second annual Asian Pacific American Legislative Day. It starts off with a very early breakfast at the depot starting at 7:30. So I won't be able to make that announcement. So I wanted to encourage all of you, everyone who could attend, to do so. Thank you very much.
Chair recognizes Representative Braddock for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Today, the Women's Caucus will be meeting at noon in 605 of the CLOB. We hope you can make it and join us for lunch. Thank you.
Chair recognizes Chairman Golick for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Judiciary Non-Civil will meet this afternoon at 1:30 in room 132. Judiciary Non-Civil today at 1:30 in room 132. Thank you.
Chair recognizes Chairman Pruitt for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. State Planning and Community Affairs will meet today in room 515 at 1 o'clock. If you need to, bring your lunch with you. Thanks.
Chair recognizes Chairman Martin for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The Budget and Fiscal Affairs Oversight Committee will meet in CLOB 415 at 1:30 today. We have one measure to undertake.
Chair recognizes Chairman Alan Powell for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. To the members of the Savannah River Caucus, we're going to be meeting in the morning from 8:15 to 8:45 in LOB 613. If you can, come on over.
Chair recognizes Chairman Chuck Sims for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Ladies and gentlemen of the House, the House Intergovernmental Coordination Committee will meet today at 4 p.m. in 506 the CLOB. Very important that we have all of you there. Thank you.
Chair recognizes Representative Gardner for an announcement.
The City of Atlanta delegation will meet with the mayor today in room 605. Please, all the people from Atlanta, come to 605. Thank you.
Chair recognizes Chairman Cooper for an announcement. Chairman Cooper.
At 4 o'clock. I forgot to mention the time is 4 o'clock and 6:05.
Now, Chairman Cooper.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Health and Human Services will meet today at 3 o'clock in the LOB, room 606. Health and Human Services, 3 o'clock in the LOB, 606. Thank you.
Chair recognizes Chairman Neal for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. State Properties Committee meets today at 3 o'clock in 403 upstairs here. Thank you.
Chair recognizes Chairman Rice for an announcement.
Mr. Speaker, I hate to be the last one to announce another committee meeting, but for all you representatives that have a split personality, I'd like to inform you of the Motor Vehicles Committee meeting at 3 o'clock today over in the CLOB on the 5th floor. Y'all come.
Chair recognizes Chairman Jacobs for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Yet another committee meeting at 3 o'clock. The Jacobs Subcommittee of the House Judiciary Committee will meet today at 3 p.m. in room 415 of the CLOB. We have a lot of bills on the agenda, and I would ask that all members of the subcommittee be present. Thank you.
Chair recognizes Representative Shaw for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Just wanted to remind everyone the Rural Caucus meets today at lunch. As soon as we adjourn, we are hosted today by the Cattlemen's Association, so we're going to have some beef brisket. So y'all come eat with us. Thank you. Oh, sorry. We're meeting at our normal place across the street in the Department of Ag building, room 201. Thank you.
Chair recognizes Chairman Battles for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Retirement Committee will meet at 2 o'clock today in 515. That's 2 o'clock, 515 for Retirement Committee.
Chair recognizes Representative Welch for an announcement.
Welch Subcommittee on Juvenile Justice will meet at 406 at 4 o'clock today, and then after that, about 15 minutes we'll probably meet, and then after that we're going to go right into Juvenile Justice Full Committee. Thank you. Same room.
Chair recognizes Representative Caldwell for an announcement.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Ladies and gentlemen, I bring before you a resolution that would actually commend the governor of Georgia for refusing to implement a state health care exchange, and would request continued action against Obamacare. If you've been paying attention, Governor Christie just folded and will now be expanding Medicaid in New Jersey. Several Republican governors are doing the same. If you'd like to hop on here, I'll be waiting up here. I would love to have you sign on. The Majority Whip signed on with us, and the Speaker Pro Tem read along and thought it looked good as well. So would love to have your support. Thank you very much.
That completes the announcements. That completes the announcements. Page photographs at the rostrum immediately upon adjournment. Chair recognizes the Majority Leader of this House for a motion.
Mr. Speaker, I move this House now stand in recess until 5 p.m. today, at which time we shall adjourn until 10 a.m. Thursday morning, February 28, 2013.
On the motion of the Majority Leader that this House be in recess until 5 o'clock p.m. today and then adjourn until 10 o'clock a.m. Thursday, February the 28th. All in favor of the motion will say aye. All those opposed will say no. The ayes have it. This House will be in recess until 5 o'clock p.m. today and then will be adjourned until 10 o'clock a.m. Thursday.